So, as founders, as innovators, we're all on this journey. And I am sure that many of you had a time when you thought to yourselves, I am so tired of trying to explain the same thing to people and they just do not get it. Or, I don't understand why this is taking so long. Or, what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't understand this. Like, what is she doing? What is he doing? What is going on here? We've all had those moments of frustration, of obstacles. I even had like a few of them this morning when I was thinking about this talk. And I remember years ago, I was having coffee with a friend of mine, and I'm telling him about, the latest stories of frustration and obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And my friend is being very patient during my venting session. And my friend put his coffee down and he looked me straight in the eye and he said 4 words to me that will forever stay with me. It's not about you. And I remember looking at him and I said, excuse me? And then he said 3 more things that I'll always remember. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget how far you've come. And don't forget where you want to go. I was on the beginning of this journey. Many of you are probably on the same journey where you want to be this leader and in tech that has responsibility, that is authentic, that wants to leave a legacy. And that message from my friend, that was really the fire that I needed to light my path, because sometimes the journey, it's very dark and you need that fire to light your way and to remind you who you are, how far you've come, and where do you want to go. First lesson, don't forget who you are. You need to be so clear about your identity and who you are, because every day you are going to be challenged on your identity. Sometimes it's going to feel like every minute you're being challenged. Some people are going to question you and make you feel like, are you doing the right thing? Are you the right person? Is this the right company? Are you being realistic? Is this too soon? Maybe you want to take a step back. Some of us probably grew up also where people made us feel like we weren't enough. Some of us are probably still in situations where we're around people that make us feel like we're not enough. And sometimes we forget who we are because we're too busy trying to be somebody else. I know it because I've been there. But when you bring your authentic self to the table and your unique experiences and background, that's where the magic begins. Every day, I bring my unique background and experiences to drive tech innovation that's going to matter for the masses. I grew up in a family, all women, each of them working on the front lines of healthcare. I remember my mother, my aunts, my grandmother coming home every day from working their shift, sitting at our kitchen table, and telling their stories about another hard day of work at the hospital. Absolutely exhausted because they were doing work that mattered and impacting the lives of others, and in many cases, saving lives. That experience of being that little girl waiting for her grandmother to come home every night from another hard day of work, that impacted me. That experience of being that little girl, listening and overhearing her aunts tell the stories of their hard day of work, of what the patients and their families were going through each day in the hospital, going through the challenges that they were enduring. So when the pandemic happened, that all came back to me. And I also saw the inequalities that exist in terms of equal access to healthcare. That little girl, she was now the CEO of a sensor technology company that could play its part in driving positive change. So I feel privileged that I can be the co founder and the CEO of a technology organization where I can bring my unique background, and experiences to drive innovation that's going to impact the masses. So, lesson number one, don't forget who you are because it's going to be your greatest asset. Bring it to the table every single day. Two, don't forget how far you've come. Now, sometimes we don't really give ourselves enough credit for how far we have come. I keep a note in my notepad on my phone that I wrote many years ago, and I always refer to it when I need that reminder of just how far I've come. I'm going to read it to you. I'm on the tube right now, going to a job I absolutely hate. I'm listening to the strong struggle, and let me tell you, the struggle is real. I have anxiety about going into this place. I can't even breathe. God, are you trying to tell me something? This is soul crushing to go every day somewhere where I don't believe in anything they do and how they do it. Watching people stab each other in the back, point fingers, throw others under the bus. I feel for those people that are just there for the paycheck. I never wanted to be one of those people, and I'm not going to be one of those people. There is a test before the testimony, I suppose. Well, I hope this is the final exam because I'm ready to live a life that involves doing something that has purpose. For years, it's been about the paycheck, and now it's time to be about the purpose. I want freedom and autonomy. I want to drive positive change. I want to go do work that inspires others. This next step, it's actually a leap. It's a leap that will launch me onto the next level. I'm ready for it. Time to take off. I think everybody needs to write a note to themselves like that. This note reminds me of how far I've come and that I've made it through tough days, and I'm going to continue to make it through tough days. The road has been difficult and it's going to continue to be difficult. But when I look at that note, at where I was, I will gladly and with gratitude take on any of the obstacles ahead because I am so grateful to be where I am today. Second lesson, don't forget how far you've come. And finally, don't forget where you want to go. Why are we doing this? Many of us have chosen this path because we want to contribute to something that's significant, that's bigger than us, because we want a better life for ourselves, for our families, for the world. So when I get caught up in my moments and the noise, that investor that just didn't get it, that client that said no, that delay that is just getting on my last nerve, that person on the call that's being difficult just to be difficult. I'm sure we've all had a few of those recently. That's, when I get wrapped up in that noise, I remind myself it's not about me. I have a bigger mandate. I'm a leader on this journey and I need to keep going. I can't get distracted by the noise. Where do I want to go? I want to leave a legacy. I'm sure many of you do also. It's not just about where we want to go, but also it's about how we want to get there. As tech leaders, we have to do it in a way where it's responsible. We can't have this naive optimism about our technology. Tech can be an amazing business enabler, but it can also be a weapon of mass destruction. So as leaders, we need to make sure that we're delivering technology that has integrity. Also, as a co-founder and a CEO of a technology company, I recognize my responsibility to be a role model to others. We need more visible examples of us in roles where historically many of us have not been. All people need to see more images of us where we're being exceptional and not simply an exception. Many of us are driving innovation that's helping to elevate the standards and performance of lives and businesses and communities where we're agents of positive change. Our journey, it's not this simple walk down the street. We're going to places far away where many people haven't even dared to venture. And It's about the legacy that you want to leave behind for your children, for the next generation and beyond. That's there's nothing easy about that. But I can't think of anything more rewarding. So just keep going. Don't forget where you want to go. Sometimes you need those talks, like what my friend gave me that day, where it's not about you. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget how far you've come. Don't forget where you want to go. Be the authentic leader that drives responsible, positive change that will leave a legacy. Your journey, it will have obstacles, but use those obstacles as your footstool and step up to new heights. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cecilia, for that jolt of inspiration this morning and for sharing your story. I've got a question here from an audience member who says, this really resonated with me. For female minority founders in tech, there are already so many layers to get through just to feel like a version of yourself that is acceptable, let alone to deal with the strategy and the day job. What's your advice for people going through this exhaustion?
Definitely. I think one, you need to have an environment around you where you feel like you have that support. That's very key. Two, it's about mindset also. I have never had the thought that I am different from anybody else. I'm not. I'm not. And I think that if you keep that mindset, that's what keeps you strong. You are entitled to the same opportunities as anybody else that is in any room that you walk into. So approach that table and sit at it with pride and with confidence because you've earned your spot and nobody can take it away from you.